you know, I wasn't into that. And also in those days, I would go out on the road, you know, hitchhike or greyhound with my guitar, and I go up into the northern communities, way up north in like say Dawson Creek, BC, which is about a day and a half's drive from Vancouver, and make really good money up there. And so you know, and I'd hit some of the other towns around there, Prince George, over into Grand Prairie, Alberta, and yeah, Mackenzie, and up into the Yukon, Whitehorse, and you know, I was doing that for a few years, and it was great fun. You know, it was sketchy at times, but you know, the money was good enough that it paid for all the travel and the motel rooms and stuff like that. I almost got rolled a couple of times. I had this one lady pull up to me as I had about $300 of change. I was scooping up, and I was getting ready to walk to my hotel, and she pulls up with her minivan, and it's almost like one of those classic memes, you know, like the door flies open, get in the van, don't ask any questions, just get in. I'm like, okay, those look like a soccer mom, so I felt like, okay, nothing bad's going to happen if I get in. And so she says, where are you going? I'll take you there right now. And I said, well, just a hotel down the street. And so I said, what's up? And she says, well, you know, those kind of those sketchy looking kids that were hanging around there, and there's some, you know, kind of punk type of kids, you know, wearing the leathers and shit like that. And I didn't pay much attention to them, but she said, yeah, that one kid, his uncle's a hotshot lawyer. He just got out of jail for attempted murder, and those guys are getting ready to roll you. I'm like, what? Really? Jeez. So I locked myself in the hotel room, ordered a pizza, and I'm not going to go out tonight.
That sounds like something out of a fucking movie. Fucking get in.
Oh, well, yeah, right?
Yeah. Elena Duff, is there. Yeah, Elena's from Dublin, and she knows, like, you wouldn't be able to get away with that late night busking in Dublin, which is true. You'd be afraid to do it. You would be afraid to do it. So, yeah, listen, let's move on to your recorded music. So, could you let people know that are listening in the names of your albums and where you can find them, and then we can talk a bit about those albums?
Well, I have 3 solo albums up on my website, grantolsen.ca. And they are Broken Dams from 2018, and that was recorded in one day at Garth Richardson's studio. Garth Richardson has sat behind the board for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. He's produced Taylor Swift. He's a super well-known recording engineer and producer, and he just happens to be based nearby in the next town over. So
Nice.
I thought, well, you know, he's $1,000 a day, and I had $1,000, so I said, well, maybe I can do an album in one day, right? And I called up some of my friends and said, hey, I'm at Garth Richardson's studio for the day. Why don't you come on down and sing on a few tracks, right? And so I recorded 8 or 9 songs or something like that before people started trickling in, and we assembled a little band right on the spot, and a mandolin player showed up, and by that point, we were getting a little bit into the sauce. I think it kind of shows a bit, but it's a fun album, you know, and it's got this this kind of, you know, live off the floor, on the fly, you know, it kind of in a style that I was kind of into. You know, I wanted good sound, good quality sound. I didn't want things to sound like super polished. I wanted it to sound a little bit like, you know, diamonds in the rough kind of thing. So that's what I got. I actually got it.
Yeah, but it has a great sound anyway. Like, even like you'd never think it was done in a day, because it doesn't sound rushed at all. It is well produced, but obviously, like, when you pay $1,000, as you call it, you expect it to be well produced. But yeah, that's amazing. That was done in a day. And
14-hour session.
Yeah, it's good that you're able to just have your friends on speed to get down there and record now. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But listen, if anybody wants friends like that, it takes a lot of years in the music game to develop friends like that. And
my friends who came down, we had been playing in bands together for several years at that point. In fact, we were part of a quite a large ensemble at the time. We called ourselves, get this, Irish for a Day. And our,
Irish for a Day.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. And our sole reason for existence was to play the Roberts Creek Legion every St. Patrick's Day. And so, you know, we learned a bunch of Irish songs and other songs, you know, the St. Patty's Day, you know, drinking songs, whatever. And our band leader at the time he is a well-known Canadian actor, and so he's just got fans, right? And so we had no problem packing the Legion every year, and that was usually the biggest, if not one of the biggest events of the year. And for that Legion, that's the only way they can make money is having events. So we thought, yeah, it's a good idea to have this really killer St. Patrick's Day band, so we can at least, you know, guarantee the Legion a good sellout night. And we always had fun doing it, not as much fun rehearsing it, you know, because the band leader was more of a theater guy, an actor, you know, so he had a different kind of style of herding the cats, and you know, so we had to just kind of, yeah, you know, I eventually took over the leadership of that band, and Tim was more of a cameo guy after a while, and so I said, yeah, I'm not this. I have a different leadership style, so I pared the band right down, you know, and got the chemistry right, you know. Tim was always safety in numbers, so he was always trying to increase the band, and you know, 12 wasn't enough. If we can get 20 on stage, let's get 20 on stage, right? So, you know, I was like, let's see if we can get it down to 5 or 6, right? Anyway, so some of the core members of that band joined me on the Broken Dams album, and then since then, I now maintain it's a 3-piece which I occasionally get to still play. We have a beer farm nearby where they grow hops and they raise chickens and stuff like that, and they have a big outdoor picnic space, and so they're very good to us, very generous to us. So they will hire. It's one of the shows I'll do with a small band. We call ourselves the Go Band, right? Grant Olsen, G-O, and yeah. So,
moving on to your second album. Sorry, your second album as Grant Olsen on your own. What's the name of that?
End of the Road is the one I made 2 years after Broken Dams, and a totally different album, a different approach. There's some. Well, see, the 2 other members of the Go Band are on End of the Road, but just the odd track here and there. Although no, Pamela sings on most of the songs. She's singing backup, and then my percussionist Fraser Blackley, he plays on 3 of the songs, and the rest of it is me. And I happened to have a drum kit here, and most of the equipment I needed when I started this project. I said, I'm not gonna spend $1,000 a day. I'm gonna go into Vancouver, and I'm gonna spend $400 or $500 on what I need, and do it all at home. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, well, good thing I planned on doing this album at home. Now I can, you know, at least I got a project I can work on from home.
Did you mix and master the whole album?
I mix it, yes, but I have a friend who masters all of my stuff.
Nice.
He used to live here in Roberts Creek, and we were in a few bands together. And then he and his family moved to Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, and we've been keeping in touch. I just send him my music files, and they're all mixed down to what he needs, and then he masters them and sends them back to me over the interwebs. So that's how it works these days. So yeah, and you know, so I pay him, right, and it's really kind of a cheap way of doing it, you know, recording at home.
Yeah, which you see a lot of people are doing nowadays, because there's this Fiverr or something it's called, where there's people to mix songs. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's worldwide now. But yeah, you can do a good recording of what you want at home, and then send it, and they master it for you. But the only thing is, a lot of people that are at home recording and doing stuff like that, they don't realize about the tempo and the timers.
Oh yeah.
Even to the Metrodome, and they send people to master, and these people are like, oh, just stressing out, you know. So
No, I do everything to a metronome. Everything to the
yeah,
metronome. Yeah,
because that's
and
the thing. Like when you're writing a song, like like same as yourself, I write a song, like it's great. You can just sit there with guitar, write a song. But when you sit down to to record that song, the metrodome is your best fucking friend when you're
yes,
recording, isn't it?
yeah,
So
and especially if you bring somebody else to do a track on the song. Yeah, especially if they're doing a rhythm part. I mean, if the tempo's all over the place. I mean, the people that I play music with, they know when my tempo's off, right? I mean, when we're in